the Brahmin's role is basically not to uphold certain, like, religious standards. Of course, in the Vedic culture, the Aryan culture, the Brahmins were those who performed the rituals to, quote unquote, build a bridge to the gods, or like you just said, open up the doors. But that's just one way of opening up the door. Like you just said, you can go into the mud. There's a door there to the gods, and for some people, that's the way of being able to help them connect to the gods. It's not just through ritual, prayer, and sattvic things. When we say sattvic, we're talking about more spiritual in the sense of light, love, peace, all that stuff. There are doors to the divine in the dirt, in the mud, in the darkness. And as you just said right there, the Brahmin's role is to basically dissolve those boundaries, to show the doors, to explore the doors for themselves too, so other individuals can inevitably see, oh, there is a door to the divine in that. There is a door to the divine in that. And what you just mentioned right there, which we could do a whole stream on too, I think we should do later on, about who were these Brahmins that eventually became untouchable, which you've talked about before, I've talked about before, the Agoris. These are those individuals that went into the place where most people think that there's no possible door to the divine in this place, the cremation grounds, where there's dead bodies burning, there's just feces, blood, bones, and all that stuff. When most people, you talk to them about God, they think of heaven and just pure whiteness, sattvic qualities. But a Brahmin has that ability, like you just said right there, to invert things, to to still see the divine in the mud, turn that medicine, or turn that poison into medicine. And that's what the Brahmin is not upholding, but it is exploring. And through the exploration of that, the aspects of accessing the divine are expanded to such bigger degrees, to where it's not all about what you see in monotheism, Abrahamic cultures, where it's all about you have to act in this way, behave in this way, listen to the priest, listen to that. No, there is a way, a pathway, a gate to the divine, a gate to God consciousness, and your dharma through every avenue of life, because the aspect of the divine in the cosmos is not just seen up in the sky in the heavens. It's also seen down in the dirt, in the Shakti, in the material world too as well. We don't shun that. And that's what I think the Brahmin really, really represents, the ability to explore the different terrains of their own consciousness, as well as the different terrains of the environment around us, on a quest, on a journey which may look crazy on the surface level to most individuals. But for a Brahmin, they have a different vision, they have a different ability to interact with the gods, with the spiritual world, with the demons too. They don't discriminate the demons. Oh man, they're all bad. No, they interact with all these aspects and forces within and outside of consciousness, their own consciousness, and within the cosmos itself, to be able to basically, what I would say, they map out. They're mapping out the cosmos and consciousness. Do with it whatever you want, but they're not doing it for a specific reason. Like, oh man, you should do this, you should do that. It's not priestly in that manner. Of course, there is some aspect to that, but on a grand scale, where you're just explaining, it's the unlocking of the map of consciousness and the cosmos through the spiritual work that they do.
Beautifully put. Yeah. And I really, when you can open the door to divinity in different ways, different Brahmins have different means of doing this. They have a different alignment, because, just like certain Kshatriya might be drawn to picking up a sword and cutting someone's head off versus writing legislation or something like that. And, different Vaishya have different qualities they exhibit. Different Brahmins or different Shudra have different qualities they exhibit. There are certain Brahmins who, as I said, they open doors by creating refuge in a pure, clean place for people. That's more of the sattvic style activity. And then there's other Brahmins who do play that role of where it almost becomes hard to tell if they're an untouchable or a Brahmin. And but ultimately the idea is, yes, doors are being opened to spiritual realization, and some people can consider that to be the role of an educator, which oftentimes this is the role that Brahmins take. But and that is a good way to describe it. But I generally like to say that Brahmins are artists, ultimately artists, and art is the door. Art is the doorway. So this is when an artist goes mad and they see God and they see that divinity, they go to a place where other people may not go internally, and then they drag something back out into the world, and we look at it and we see, okay, this is a divine experience in that has been captured here. That is the role of the Brahmin.
For the full lecture, click the link posted in the pinned comment down below.